Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Zach Pasquarello. I am a business owner, certified QuickBooks Pro advisor. I own a bookkeeping business, Harrisburg Bookkeeping, and I own a trucking company, Route 20 Trucking Company. This is another addition to my weekly trucking profit and loss tutorial, video, demonstration, explanation. I don't have a good catchphrase for this video series yet, but this is the sixth week of my trucking company. Took 2 or 3 months of back end administrative work to get the company up and running, but I finally got my truck in July, and I've done several runs, several loads now, and so I want to provide a unique perspective to my fellow box truck owner operators, and I want to show you a bookkeeping and accounting perspective because I think that is often overlooked. It's not very exciting, but I do think it's important nonetheless. So I have a unique perspective. I'm a bookkeeper by day, and I just kind of started this trucking company on the side. So my primary background is bookkeeping, accounting, and QuickBooks and taxes. And so I want to bring that information, that experience into the trucking industry. So I use my own personal company as an example. So with that, we'll jump right into the second week of August. So if you missed my first couple of videos, I talk about like the pre-July stuff, like April, May, and June, everything I did leading up to getting my truck, and then I talk about July in another video, just like the actual first month of owning my truck, all the maintenance and startup costs associated with that. I put out a video last week of the first week of August, which was a pretty good week, for like kind of my first real week of running with the truck. And then now this is the second week of August. So like I said, I'm going to be making a new video every single week, and I'm going to be showing my profit and loss from my QuickBooks for Route 20 Trucking Company. And this week I also want to touch on one other thing, and that is how to account for your factoring company. So I'm going to show you, I mean, I just haven't done my most recent invoice, so I'm just going to show you, I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to show you guys what I do. So hope you all enjoy. It's super exciting stuff. No, it's not exciting at all, but it's necessary and it's important. So here I use TAFs as the factoring company. This is like an actual invoice that I just got from TAFs 5 days ago. You can see Route 20 Trucking Company. The batch number is just like a random number that they assign to your company, and it changes every time you do a new invoice. And then the date there, August 19th. So you can name or number your invoices, whatever. I just did it numerical, chronological order. So I started at 1. This is the 6th invoice that I've created with TAFs. This is the broker who got it for me. The reference number, this number you're going to get straight from your rate con and your BOL. It's the reference number that usually is assigned by the broker. And this is the rate con, $750. That's how much the broker agreed to pay me, $750. And the factoring company took 3%. So congratulations, TAFs. You have now made $22 from me and my company for basically fronting me the money. So they give you kind of like a loan almost. Not a loan. It's a factoring company. So I mean, if you're not familiar with the factoring company, definitely recommend looking into it. But they handle all of your accounts receivable. So they front you the money up front, and then they on the back end, they go and collect the money without ever bothering you ever again. So they give you the money within 24, 48 hours for a small fee, 3%. So if you make $100,000 a year, they'll take $3,000. So really, in the grand scheme of things, if you're waiting 30, 60, 90 days, not only are you waiting to get paid, but you're also going through the hassle of tracking down all of those shippers and brokers to get paid. And you don't want to do that. Like, even if I had $1 million in my checking account right now, I would still use a factoring company just so I don't have to deal with the hassle of sending shippers and brokers the invoices and waiting for payment, making sure they pay. I would still use a factoring company. So they take 3%, and the more you factor, the better rates you can get. Just like with anything, everything's negotiable. You can get 0.5, maybe 1% if you're factoring a lot. If you have a bunch of trucks, if you have a big fleet, you can negotiate those rates. So they gave me $727, but this is important, and I think this is often overlooked. These here, let me scroll down a little bit. Yeah, these transaction fees. So here you have transaction fee $5. Every time I submit an invoice, they charge me $5 to transfer the money onto my fuel card, and then they also charge me 75 cents, which is just annoying, but they charge me $5.75 every time I submit a batch. So that's kind of like a hidden cost they don't really talk about. It's not a lot, but I mean, $5 here, $5 there, it adds up. So this is my most recent run that I did, I think 2 weeks ago, and I factored it with TAFs. So they are going to pay me $721.83 out of $750. So now I will show you how I put this into my QuickBooks. Okay, so go to my QuickBooks now. All right, so this is my actual QuickBooks account, Route 20 Trucking Company. Recommend using QuickBooks. I mean, I'm a little biased. I'm a certified QuickBooks Pro Advisor. I don't work for QuickBooks, but I use QuickBooks and I use their software. I have over 20 clients and they all use QuickBooks. It's really great accounting software. It's pretty user friendly, but I'm not going to get too far into that. I'm just going to show you how I account for this. So new journal entry. If you guys don't know how to use QuickBooks, this is probably going to be pretty confusing for you. But if you do know how to use QuickBooks and you are using a factoring company, this is how I would account for your revenue. So new journal entry. You want to make sure you're capturing those factoring fees. Okay, so I always like to just throw in the batch number for my journal entry number. So batch number, whatever, it changes every single time. Make sure the date lines up. So like that was August 19th. So for this journal entry, I'll do August 19th. Now this is debits and credits. This is where it can get a little bit confusing, but bear with me here. So I like to work backwards. So we'll go down couple lines here. So first of all, we'll do sales. This is your income. You can call it revenue, sales, you can call it whatever you want, driving, hours, whatever. Sales is just the default. So I'm going to credit my sales account for $750. And then here's where, so that's your revenue. So that'll show up on your profit and loss as $750 worth of revenue. Now we have $5.75 of factoring fees. So $5.75, and that I always like to name that the ACH transfer and invoice. And then we have the factoring fee of 3%, which is $22.42. And now this is important. We have what's actually deposited into your checking account, or in this example, it's deposited into my fuel card. So we have $721.83 that was put into my fuel card. So this is typically a checking account, but you're going to have a debit. This is what's actually the actual money you receive. And then these are your factoring fees, 3%, and then the ACH transfer and invoice, and then this is your revenue. So on your profit and loss at the top, you'll see your profit, your revenue, $750, and then you'll take out your factoring fees, and then your net income for this, just the factoring fees alone, will be $721.83. So that's how I account for my revenue, my factoring fees. So I'll save that. And then I also use my fuel card, so I will add in real quick here, bear with me. I purchased fuel on August 9th. So I don't have my fuel card connected directly to my QuickBooks. So I have to manually enter in these fuel transactions. So who did I pay? I'm not too worried about that right now. Just a random gas station. I mean, it really doesn't matter. But I used my EFS card and it was on August 9th. So we go over here, August 9th, category, fuel, and I have a sub account for truck one. So this is cost of goods sold, fuel, and I spent $150.74 on fuel. Okay, so that is that. Save and close. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. I will show you. So I wanted to focus on August, but just to give you a little backstory, I will show you July real quick, a brief overview of July. I only did one run in July, I spent $600. And this is my profit and loss. This is straight from QuickBooks. So, under the report section here, you can pull up your profit and loss. So this is July. So you can see here 600 bucks for my first run. And then if I scroll down a little bit here, you can see here that I spent $4,000, $4,567. So that's all the maintenance and repairs I put into my truck just the first month, just to get it, just to pass DOT inspection. I had to get 2 new tires, oil change. I had to get cost $740 to get the truck registered, title and tags. I recorded depreciation. So all in all, the first month I lost $5,000. So a little lesson there. Be prepared. First month I lost $5,000. Now, if you want to see the first week of August, check out my other video that I put out last week. I'll show you just the second week of August. And the big reason why I kind of wanted to make these videos in the first place, one, just to help you guys out and show you a different side of it. But also, whenever I first started, I just saw so many glamorous videos on YouTube and Facebook about these dudes saying like 5K gross revenue per week, every single week. And it obviously got me really excited, but it's not always like that. So I want to make these videos for 2 reasons. One, to educate you guys on the reality, to show you kind of what it could really be like. Obviously, there are other owner operators who are absolutely crushing it. And if you're like that, kudos to you, super proud of you. I'm happy for you. If you got your truck in July and you're already making $2,000-$3,000 a week, that's awesome. Good for you. But there's also probably some of you who might be struggling. And I'm right there with you. I made a big mistake. I got an 18-foot box truck, and I didn't realize how tough it would be, but it's really hard to find loads for an 18-foot box truck. And I'm struggling, to be honest with you. I'm not going to give up. I'm willing, this isn't like a source of income for me, so I'm not going to give up. I'm willing to stick it out for a little bit, but not everyone's that fortunate. So it's really tough. But the second reason I wanted to make these videos is so guys don't get discouraged. I'm struggling. I'm right there with you. I'm not making a whole lot of money. Sometimes I'm losing money. So for example, this week, the second week of August, I didn't record any revenue. So there's just going to be some weeks where, I think my truck might have been in the shop for a majority of this week, but I spent $70 on dispatcher fees from the week before, and I paid my driver $1,500 just for like work that was completed in July. I typically pay my drivers at the end of every week, but I kind of paid one of my drivers $1,500. He helped me out a lot in July. And then hotel fees, these were all, my driver stayed in a hotel 2 nights this week, so I fronted him that money before I ended up getting paid. So right there, $1,720 and $150 the transaction I just showed you guys. That was on fuel. $34.90 on advertising and marketing. I got a website, and I definitely recommend you guys getting the website. It actually helped me get work last week. Someone found me on Google. So get a website. It's super cheap. Don't spend hundreds of dollars, but get a domain, get a simple website. It should be like less than $100. Get a website, and then truck insurance. As you guys know, wicked expensive, almost $900 for truck insurance. So this is the second week of August for my trucking company. I didn't make any money. Well, I ran a couple loads, but I didn't get paid for anything in the second week of August. And yeah, I've spent $2,800 last week. So it's tough sometimes. You guys are definitely going to spend a lot of money. Hopefully, if you guys are just starting out, you have probably close to ten or $15,000 cash saved up, ready to spend. Especially if you're not driving. If you're driving, it's a whole different story. But if you're just kind of like an investor, just an owner, not necessarily an operator like I am, you're going to be spending a lot of cash up front. So that's the second week of August. I spent almost $3,000. It didn't make anything. I'll show you the whole month of August just for perspective. So I made $2,000 in the first week of August. So far for the first 2 weeks of August, I'm negative $1,600. So that's where I am currently with my trucking company. I will make a video probably later this week, if not later this week, definitely next week on the third week of August. Some big exciting things happened in the third week. I got a pretty awesome 3,700-mile trip, so I was super excited about that. Got paid really well, and I will talk to you guys about that trip in the next video. But here is my company so far. So just in August alone, $1,600, and we'll go all time. So we'll see April 1st through through August 14th. I'm negative $5,000. So that's where I am currently with my trucking company. I have lost $5,000. So I spent close to $10,000. I made $5,000 and spent close to $10,000 on this trucking company. So that's where I am total. Stay tuned for my videos. Check out my bookkeeping business, harrisburgbookkeeping.com. Check me out on Facebook, Harrisburg Bookkeeping. I'm super active there. If you guys ever have any questions about trucking or bookkeeping, taxes, accounting, please feel free to reach out, and stay tuned for next week's video on August week 3 of my trucking company profit and loss. Thanks so much for watching.